the summer of 1940, a crucial air battle rages in the skies over southern England. Britain is under attack.
Hi strollers, today we're going to do a special episode. We are at Sandown Cemetery on the Isle of Wight, but the story doesn't start here. We've got a couple of other places we need to visit first before we actually go and visit the person we come to see. And the person we come to see is Pilot Officer Webster. He was one of the few who didn't have much time in the air. For the time he did serve well for his country and his king. So let's get on and discover Pilot Officer Webster. And also I'm doing this in conjunction with the Kent Battle of Britain Museum at Hawkridge with Dave. He's the chairman, manager, volunteer, everything down there. So I'm doing this for them, and what I'm going to try and do also is, I've done one already, Pilot Officer Henry Cecil Height, which was possibly, I think it was my first video for the channel. So I think I'm going to need to start finding fallen heroes again. So if anybody has any more information on the few buried along Britain on the shores of Ireland, then please let me know. Give me the information. And there's the pub down there to the road coming in from Newport. So this is the home of Pilot Officer Webster. The Stag Inn in Lake on the Isle of Wight. Stag sign up there as well. Some of the old part of it. I'm going to see if I can find some pictures of the past, of the pub where it was. We're up in the beer garden now. I'm not going to look in the windows because the place is a mess. Stag Inn, home of Pilot Officer Webster. Mrs. would have been here in the 30s, late 20s, I suppose, when his parents owned it. I know if I'm correct, his father passed away in 1933. So this would have been the street he would have walked down to go into Sandown, no doubt, probably where the more nightlife was. So you can see the flat on the top, the accommodation. There's the back of it, I won't go in there. You can see people are trying to get in. But yes, it's the home of Pilot Officer Webster before the Battle of Britain, probably when he was doing all his training. So here we are, we're at the War Memorial for Lake. I'm hoping you're getting this, it is really windy today out here, so we're now at the War Memorial where Pilot Officer Fletcher is actually on with. I'll show you that in a moment. This is for the people of Lake have erected this for the 210 men of Lake that died for their country, land, sea and air for the 1914 to 1920 and to the 1939 to the 1945. So we have people from the First World War and the Second World War on here. I've already seen the patch where he's on. So what we'll do now is we'll go and have a look at it, okay? That's what it says on the front. The Union Jack's on the front of it as well. And the glory of God who given us the victory and in memory of our heroic dead. And this is their names. I assume this is from the First World War. We thankful them for their service. And then down here it says, O risen Lord, O shepherd of our dead, whose cross has brought them and whose staff has led, in glorious hope their proud and sorrowing land, commits her children to thy gracious hand. That's by J.S. Upright. And then this is now to commemorate the Second World War, commemorate the brave men of Lake who gave their lives during active service in World War II, 1939 to 1945. And if we look closely, there we are, Pilot Officer Webster. I think what I'm going to do is, well, I think I'm going to leave one of our flags here and we'll leave it by his name. Flagging by his name, we'll put it here. There it is. Flag of Pilot Officer Webster. Thank you all for your service. Hopefully you can pick it up. If anybody knows the family, I would like to come back here and clean this up. to make it look a lot more tidier. So if anybody knows of the family who want to get hold of me or Dave, then I'm more than willing to come down and tidy it up and keep it nice and fresh. If there's nobody on the island, I'd hate to leave Frank left here just like this and then just be visited on occasion. Frank Kingsley Webster was born 17th of December 1913 on the Isle of Wight, the son of Jasper Kingsley Webster 1875 to 1933 and Elizabeth Mary Webster of 1879, and the date of death is not confirmed. Frank grew up on the Isle of Wight. The family actually owned the pub in Lake called the Stag Hotel, which is now known as the Stag Inn, which is no longer running, but the pub is still there. His father had served as a captain in the Border Regiment and the Royal Warwickshire Regiment in World War One. He died on the 12th of May 1933, aged 57. He's actually buried here with Frank as well. Frank Webster achieved sporting success at Bedford Modern School and worked as a buyer before joining the RAF voluntary service in about April 1939. Called up on the 1st of September 1939, he completed his elementary training at 15 EFTS Red Hill, which is in Surrey. He moved on to 5 FTS Sealand for number 47 course, which ran from the 29th of April to the 25th of July 1940. Frank was commissioned on the 27th and joined 610 Squadron at Biggin Hill, direct from 5 FTS on July the 28th. He was attached to the 7th OTU Horden on the 29th. After converting to Spitfires, he rejoined 610 Squadron on the 12th of August. Frank flew his first operation sortie on the 24th on a patrol. And on the 26th of August, his Spitfire X4011 was severely damaged by a Messerschmitt 109 in combat over Folkestone, Kent on the 26th of August. Pilot Officer Webster was killed when he crashed whilst attempting to land at Hawkridge, not at actual Hawkridge Airport, the air place down there. He actually crashed in a farm, on a farm field. He was 26 and he was buried here at Sandown on the Isle of Wight in a joint grave with his father. Pilot Officer 82682 FK Webster 610 Squadron RAF Volunteer Regiment was a Battle of Britain pilot as indicated on a small wooden remembrance cross. Pilot Officer Webster also commemorated on the Battle of Britain Memorial at the RAF Museum, Hendon, London. Pilot Officer Webster is also commemorated on the Battle of Britain Memorial unveiled in 2005 at the Embankment, London. And he also appears on the commemorative wall at the Battle of Britain Memorial in Capel-le-Fern, Kent. This Tuesday evening, on the 26th of August 2025, Dave and Mitch from the Battle of Britain Museum at Hawkridge visited the crash site of Pilot Officer Frank Webster, Spitfire Mark 1A, serial number R6595 and coded DWO, which crashed at Fergus Court Farm, Hawkridge, killing the 26-year-old pilot instantly 85 years ago today. When Dave Brockenhurst MBE, the Kent Battle of Britain Museum Trust Chairman, historian and volunteer, traced the family of P.O. Webster back in the mid-90s, he discovered that his family had always wanted to lay flowers at the location where he had been killed. The following anniversary, Dave made arrangements for the cousins, nephews, niece, together with their respective families, to visit the crash site and lay flowers at the spot on behalf of his parents. This was back in 1996, and Dave made a promise to the family that he, together with his fellow volunteers from the museum, would lay flowers at the spot of the anniversary each year of Frank's death and to honour the last wishes of his parents. 610 Squadron had flown to the RAF Hawkridge during the early mornings of Monday the 26th of August 1940, 85 years ago today, from their inland base in Biggin Hill. During their second scramble of the day, they were met by Mrs. Smith BF 109Es at 20,000 feet over Folkestone. Spitfire Mark 1, serial 9R6595, coded DWO, was shot down during the ensuing dogfight and was seen by eyewitness on the ground to fall vertically from 20,000 feet, crashing in flames at Fergus Court Farm, Hawkridge, killing the pilot, Frank Webster, instantly. Many contemporary publications have stated incorrectly that Spitfire crashed in flames attempting to land at Hawkridge, but several eyewitnesses have been interviewed confirming the machine came down vertically from 20,000 feet and back up by parts being removed from the crash site at a depth of 12 feet. Frank was actually born in Burma, but grew up on the Isle of Wight, where his family ran the Stag Inn in Lake. He joined the RAF volunteers in 1939 as airman under training, service number 745588. He was called up to full-time service on the 1st of September 1939, completing his training at 15 EFTS and 5 FTS. Frank Webster was commissioned on the 27th of July 1940, posted to the following day to number 610 Squadron at Acklington. He was 26 years old when he was killed, and his body was taken back to the Isle of Wight to be buried with his father in Sandown. What I'm going to do is I'm going to leave one of our flags there as well. This is another one that I found. Pilot Officer J.A.J. Davey, pilot, Royal Air Force. He died 11th of August 1940, aged 20. So I'm going to see if I can find some more information, if possible. If anybody can help me, if anyone local sees this, or if anybody with some information, I'd be grateful to receive places I could visit. I will leave a flag, but I'm going to leave it when I come back, so it can be part of it all. And we thank you for your service as well, sir. And we will see you soon, and we will tell your story.
Where the old stones sleep in rows, where silence speaks and the cold wind blows, there walks a man with a steady gaze, through time-worn paths and forgotten graves. Spitfire Kev with a tale to tell, through mossy ground and chapel bell, he strolls through shadows light in hand, a storyteller across the land. Celtic cross and hallowed ground, history whisper without a sound. Traveling far he walks alone, but every story finds a home. From sacred pews to skies above, there flies the heart of all he
there's two
loves,
trees
with
just around here.
wings of flame and
There's his grave just down by the bottom of the trees. Okay.
Where angels dread. Graveyards speak if you know the tune of lovers lost and wars too soon. He brushes moss from names long gone and brings them back with each new dawn. Church doors creak where the faithful pray, stone by stone the past's relay, a whispered prayer, a broken chain. He captures both the joy and pain. Celtic cross and hallowed ground, history whispered without a sound. Traveling far he walks alone, but every story finds a home. From sacred pews to skies above, there flies the heart of all he loves, with wings of flame and boots that tread through time's own halls, where angels dread. Maybe he flew where the brave men soared, maybe he just loved the roar of freedom song, of engines loud, like voices rising from the ground. Spitfire Kev with eyes that see the soul beneath each cemetery, a ghostly guide, a gentle friend to tales that time forgot to end. So if you find him on your screen, wandering through a church serene, no, he's not just passing through, he's saving stories just for you.
Brothers and sisters, don't forget to like, subscribe and share. Keep on strolling.